evening games. Hi, everybody. With Jeff Houston, I'm Drew Goodman. You know, for the 5th time this year, the Rockies lost a game that they led going to the 9th inning. By comparison, the Padres, who are also struggling this year, 45-0 when they carry a lead to the 9th inning. It's been a problem spot for Colorado, particularly of late.
It has been, and whenever you lose a ball game late for a club, it's really hard. It's not only the loss, but how it happened and when it happened. Late in the games, it's like an extra kick in the gut. And for the Rockies, they have the most losses since the All-Star break by their bullpen. Their ERA is second highest. First highest on that is a little deceiving because it's the Dodgers, but they have those 2 horses, and then it's just picking up these other 3 games that they're there. Least amount of saves, most amount of blown saves, and then the second most innings. Only the Cincinnati Reds have more innings pitched than the Colorado Rockies.
Well, the issues have not been lost upon Darren Holmes, who handles the bullpen for the Rockies, and, of course, the manager, Walt Weiss.
Well, I know them guys are tired, and they know they're tired. You know what I mean? So we just talk about grinding through it, getting through it. You know, it takes a lot more concentration to keep the ball down, you know, and it's something that can lapse whenever you're tired.
The way things have gone, they've been used a lot. So a lot of times you're going with the freshest guy available, trying to stay off certain guys. Some guys have struggled, so you try to put them in a situation where, you know, there's less heat on them. So those things are all factors.
You know, it has overshadowed the fine work of John Gray, obviously, in his 3 starts, but even Chris Russin. Chris Russin, who's going today, has pitched well.
Especially here at Coors Field, has an ERA below 4, 2-1 record. Pitched very well in his last start, matching up against Matt Harvey out in New York. He went 6 innings, only gave up 1 earned run during that start. So what they need from Chris today is a little bit of length to give some of those guys out in the bullpen a blow, because tomorrow's a day off. Then you would have 48 hours until you played again on Tuesday.
Well, the Rockies trying to break some streaks with Chris Russin on the mound. They've lost 6 consecutive games overall. They've lost 7 straight to San Diego. It's the Rockies. It's the Padres. Come on back to Coors Field with us. Weather all weekend. It will continue this afternoon as the Rockies conclude this 3-game set with the Padres. Tomorrow's an off day for Colorado before Washington comes a calling on Tuesday. The Padres will return to Petco immediately following this ball game. So the Rockies trying to avoid the sweep. Chris Russin on the hill, and we can report that Yonder Alonso, that's right, he's not catching now, folks. This is all a goof. He is feeling just fine. That was done because of this last night. Justin Upton gets picked off second when he was the tying run, and the Rockies would have a successful rundown. Upton so upset with himself, he went to throw the helmet against the ground. It stayed in his hand, and he ended up hitting his teammate in the head, Yonder Alonso. Alonso had to come out of the game. He went through the concussion protocol. The good news is he is fine. Obviously, Justin Upton felt awful about it. They worked things out. But Alonso, with a nice sense of humor, walking around the dugout in full regalia.
Well, and you can do that now that everything's okay and you're not worried about sitting out some time. I still think it was an innocent mistake by Justin Upton that his hand got caught with some pine tar on the helmet, and that's how he held on to it too long.
And I can guarantee you, Justin will never do that again. And listen, his manager, Pat Murphy, said, yes, it's inexcusable. If you want to go down and get upset and beat the heck out of something downstairs, go do that. Don't do it with your hands. We've seen guys, you've probably seen it in your career, break their hand. Carlos Quentin was having an MVP kind of season one year for the Padres. Got upset and broke his hand. Little comebacker, Chris Russin will throw out Corey Spangenberg, and a good start for Russin as we're underway. Derek Norris will be next, and as we've told you throughout this series, Norris has just swung the bat tremendously well against the Rockies, despite his overall numbers just being pedestrian. 245 batting average. Here's the rest of Pat Murphy's lineup today, presented by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Kemp, Upton, Jerko, they're all red hot. All have 8-game hitting streaks. Then Barmes, Hedges, Melvin Upton Jr., and the pitcher Ian Kennedy. Russin's first delivery is in there, strike one on Derek Norris. He had the big double against Tommy Kahnle leading off the top of the ninth, which precipitated the 3-run rally.
Yeah, set the stage for that ninth inning. The 8th double that Norris has hit against Colorado this year. I mean, that's just a shocking number, really high in the 10 games that he's played to have 8 doubles.
Some umpiring changes that we're going to tell you about after DJ moves over and throws out Derek Norris. 2 outs. That'll bring up Matt Kemp. Behind home plate is the veteran C.B. Buckner. Dale Scott has a family issue that he's tending to, so Dale, who's the crew chief, is not here. Dan Iasonia is going to work third base and act as the crew chief. Lance Barrett is at second, and John Tumpane, a guy who gets called to the big leagues on a regular basis, John is over at first base. 2 gone, and Matt Kemp is at the plate. Kemp riding an 8-game hitting streak, hitting .375. A couple home runs. He's driven in 9 over the 8-game stretch, and he has been in the middle of everything that the Padres have done offensively in this series. He had a 4 RBI day on Friday, and of course the first cycle in Padre history. Drove in a run yesterday, and he tops this one foul.
Let's take a look at the numbers for Mr. Russin tonight. As I mentioned, coming off that good start in New York, matching Matt Harvey, giving up just the 1 hit, 8 hits, 1 run. At home, 2-1 with a .389 ERA.
2 balls and a strike. And Matt takes outside. It's 3-1. The former high school basketball star in Oklahoma City.
You wonder if he ever has any of those regrets.
I would doubt it.
After the career he's having?
Well, he's already made, what, 7 figures? Excuse me, he's made 9 figures in his career. You run out now. 7, 8, 9.
There's a lot of zeros.
There's a lot of zeros. He's had a terrific big league career. He's dated starlets, right?
Yes, he has.
Sliced down the right field line, and Cargo makes a nice play and then flips it into the stand. So very good start for Chris Russin. We're accustomed to that. And we'll see the Rockies with the bats when we come back against Ian Kennedy. Off. He's got 31 stolen bases. Charlie's swinging the bat well so far on this homestand. Let's take a look at the rest of Walt's lineup, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Jose Reyes, Jose will bat second. Cargo at 270, he'll bat third. Then Nolan Arenado, 86 ribbies for Nolan. Ben Paulson will follow. DJ LeMahieu. Michael McHenry doing the catching, batting seventh. Matt McBride, he's getting a start out in left field, looking for his first hit since returning to the big leagues. And Chris Russin handles the bat well.
It's a guy they're very familiar with, Ian Kennedy. They faced him 20 other times, whether it was in a Padres uniform or a Diamondbacks uniform. It's Colorado in his career. He's 6-4.
Well, he has not reached the heights that he reached a few years ago when he won 21 games with the Arizona Diamondbacks. But for me, this is still a very good pitcher. Inexplicably has an ERA over 4 at Petco. He's given up home runs, 25 of them. But despite that, he hasn't given up many runs beyond giving up a home run per game of late. And he's not afraid to pitch at Coors Field, and the numbers historically back that up.
18 earned runs and 50 inning pitch at Coors Field. So that backs up what you're talking about for Ian Kennedy. There's 25 home runs, 3 shy of his career high. Also the second most given up in the National League. Unfortunately, Kyle Kendrick's still the leader with 26. And it's been a few weeks since he's been out on the hill.
1-2 on Charlie, and he fouls it back. You get this with Kennedy. Over his last 11 starts since June 13th, he's allowed at least 1 home run in each start, 13 total. However, he has a 2.76 ERA over that span, and the opposition hitting just 2.26. So
a lot of those are solo shots.
Yep. This is going to be out of play. In fact, Elias said since earned runs were first recorded in both leagues, only one other pitcher has had a streak of at least 10 straight starts with a homer allowed while posting an ERA under 3. That was Roger Clemens. I think you've heard of him, with the Red Sox in '86. He ended up winning not only the Cy Young that year, he won his only MVP award. Keep giving up the home runs, I guess, is the thought behind that.
Well, it's a day for him. 86 degrees, little light breeze. Neither team took batting practice, but normally on a Sunday day game when it's a little hot, ball jump.
He's given up 6 home runs at Coors Field. 3, though, to Troy Tulowitzki. Jerko makes the catch, 1 out. Jose Reyes will be next. Here's the glove assignments for the Padres today. Justin Upton, Melvin Upton, and Matt Kemp in the outfield. Corey Spangenberg, good looking prospect. He's at third base. Clint Barmas. Clint getting started short. Jerko and Derek Norris on the right side. And Austin Hedges making his second start behind the plate in the series. Reyes turns and hits one foul. The Rockies lineup, the guy that's given Ian Kennedy the biggest problems are Daniel Descalso, who obviously is not playing. DJ LeMahieu is 8 for 20 against him. This ball's fouled back our way.
And for DJ, also 3 walks, so a high on base percentage against Kennedy.
Here's the 1-2 on the swing, so that's a strikeout for Kennedy. 2 outs.
And that's where he'll get some strikeouts with the curveball. He'll throw the curve 16% of the time to mix in a 2-seam fastball. Tries to run it, but can also elevate the fastball. Change-up slider. Definition of a 4-pitch mix. Not many sliders. He likes that curveball. Even here at altitude, doesn't affect him, as we saw by the numbers and we've talked about. He'll throw it anywhere and at any time.
Cargo's one of those guys he's handled. Cargo just 4 for 32 lifetime with a home run against him. He has struck him out almost half the time. 15 strikeouts and 32 at bats. Cargo lifts this ball to center field. Easy play for Melvin Upton, and it's a 1-2-3 beginning for Ian Kennedy.
Twice for the Rockies. Now, he came up to the big leagues as a catcher out of Lehigh. He's from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. So he did play a decent amount of left field for the Isotopes. So that's why he's getting the start today. And back in the day when he was a kid, he told me about meeting a famous outfielder.
through a family friend, we got to go to a game and go like meet Sammy Sosa in the dugout at Old Veteran Stadium, which was really really awesome. So that was a cool experience. I was probably, I'm trying to think how old I was, maybe like 11, 10, 11 years old. So that was, I mean, to be in the dugout before the game and see that was awesome.
So, guys, he was born in 1985. You can do that math. Mid-90s, Sammy Sosa. Now he's playing in the outfield. And, Jeff, I know you played with Sosa with the Cubs.
Yeah, my last year we had locker mates. So if he had a locker, then, of course, all the big superstars, they have a locker in between, and then it was mine. They didn't let me get that close.
Even at Wrigley?
Even at Wrigley.
Really?
Yes.
It's a pretty tight fit there.
Yeah, but it's going to be better this coming year. They're going to change some of the dugouts,
I know,
some or the clubhouse, put batting cages in. Actually, bring it into the 21st century.
So McBride was a big Phillies fan. He said, Dykstra, Kruk, all those guys, Darren Dalton, 93 when they lost the World Series to the Jays. That's where he goes back. So just a little bit on Matt.
Matt's a PA guy. Lehigh is an Eastern guy. Looking on the Lehigh website the other day, and they were bragging about Matt going back to the big leagues. Outstanding academic school.
And they should. There's some of those schools that you don't have many guys going to the big league. You need to promote your program.
Sure.
Nothing wrong with it.
Playing the Patriot League. This is hit straight away off the end of the bat. And Justin Upton's retired. Here's the Rockies defensively. Matt McBride, as Mark was talking about, is in left field. Charlie Blackmon in center. Cargo is in right. Arenado Reyes, LeMahieu, Paulson. That's pretty much been the everyday infield for the Rockies over the last several weeks. Michael McHenry has the gear on. He's actually using it. Yonder Alonso just using it for protection on the Padre bench. Jed Jerko has swung it well of late, and in this series in particular. He's got an 8-game hitting streak going. He's hit 13 of his last 16 to the tune of a .327 average.
Just looks like a different hitter since coming back after being sent out.
He's got to hit to play, and I know that sounds silly. Of course he does, right? Well, there's certain guys at certain spots in the middle of the diamond that can get away with being pedestrian offensively because they're going to take runs away with their defense. With all due respect, that's not Jed Jerko. Jed Jerko, they thought, was going to be a slugging second baseman, and he was his freshman year.
And that's why he was rewarded with the large contract for a guy that just had 1 year in the big leagues. Somebody like a Ray Ordonez. Remember Ray?
Sure.
Ray was that guy that didn't matter really how he hit. Mark Belanger. They didn't hit, but boy, could they pick it.
Saw more of that at shortstop years ago. Ray Ordonez perfected the sliding stop, going to his knees and still be able to throw guys out from the left side of the infield. Here's Barmy. Speaking of good fielders, here's the 0-1 on Clint, and that's strike two. Well, I like watching Chris Russin work. It's quick, it's focused, he's got a lot of poise. I think he's a better pitcher now than he was in different periods coming up with the Cubs when he went back and forth as a kid who threw a minor league no-hitter. So I mean, he's been on the radar, especially when he was with Chicago. He's done good things in the Rockies uniform. Now
you look at it and his age, what he's doing and how he's doing it. You learn stuff about yourself as you go along, realizing that I'm not a 95-mile-an-hour pitcher. I better be able to spot, locate, cut the fastball in, mix it up. But every time he goes out there, you just feel like he's got a game plan.
Yes, he does.
What he wants to accomplish for that ball game.
And he's going out of the stretch, and he just quick pitched Barmes, which he did last time in his last outing a couple times with effect. Reyes going out, and he'll make the play. 6 up, 6 set down by Chris Russin. No score. Hometown Toyota stores, let's go places. By Colorado native, August is Colorado Proud Month. And by Southwest Airlines, book your low fare now at southwest.com. Drew Goodman, Jeff Hewson, Mark Stout on a pretty Sunday afternoon in the Mile High City. No base runners yet. Nolan Arenado will take on Ian Kennedy here. Two kids from Orange County. Ian Kennedy pitched collegiately at Southern Cal, was a big star there. And this is fouled off.
First round pick of the Yankees. 21st overall.
He was a freshman All-American at Southern Cal. Nolan, recruited by Southern Cal, was going to play at Arizona State for Pat Murphy. Of course, signed with the Rockies.
Pat Murphy started at Notre Dame.
You know what? I spent some time talking to Pat this morning, and he's from Syracuse, New York originally. Huge Golden Domer fan even before he was coaching there. And get this, he said, he goes, my favorite player in basketball, this was unsolicited, was Bill Hanslick when I was young watching Notre Dame play. And of course, you know, Bill is a very good friend of both of ours. He's my next door neighbor. And he said, you know, I met him once. He probably won't remember. Arenado swings and misses. And I said, no, I bet you will. And he was talking about how hard he played on defense. So I called up Bill and put him on the phone with him, and they chatted for about 10 minutes in the dugout.
Bill was just up here in the booth a few weeks ago.
Yep. Bill's got his Gold Crown golf tournament tomorrow at Lakewood Country Club. Ben Paulson with one out. But I mean, he was reciting the whole roster.
During the Adrian Dantley years.
Yeah, during AD, and you know, going back to Lambeer and Orlando Woolridge, and then some guys, quite honestly, I hadn't heard of. That's why I had to get Hanslick on the phone. I said, they're your teammates. Started the conversation. I found somebody who thought you could play.
Would he expect anything less from you?
No, absolutely not. Of course, Bill was an Olympian in 1980, the year we boycotted the Moscow games. 1-2 on Ben Paulson. 2 strikeouts for Ian Kennedy.
Saw the circle grip change. That's how he'll preset it in his glove and then change from there. And he went to a fastball. But it's easier to get that grip and move it to a fastball or a curveball than it is the opposite way. You get guys, they'll start to pick up on the fanning of the glove if it goes out. Great shot from our center field camera.
Well, that's a good pitch. And Paulson's gone. He has the ability, usually with a lot of pitchers, they have one strikeout pitch, one swing and miss pitch. In the case of Kennedy, there's a couple of pitches he can get punch outs with.
And this is one of them. The changeup's the other. But in the Subaru Supermo, notice the grip, the way it changes, and then really pulls down hard as he comes through to get that torque on the elbow and the wrist to create the spin.
Here's DJ, 8 for 20 against Kennedy lifetime, and the fastball poured over the outside corner at 93, and it's 0-1. And that's strike 2. Here's a did you know on Ian Kennedy. Since 2010, Ian Kennedy has started more games than any other pitcher in the National League. That's right. He's 2 ahead of Clayton Kershaw. 183 starts. And now, if you look at a pitcher that's got quality to them, and certainly Kennedy has, and then you throw in durability, that's a guy that you really covet. You talk about some guys with great stuff that are on the disabled list frequently, but this guy has good stuff, and he makes a start every 5th day.
just helps everybody out. I mean, the manager, the pitching coach, because these guys are guys you can count on every 5th day they go out there, and then the other 4 days he's not pitching, he's helped your bullpen because he ate up so many innings on the other day he pitched.
Yep, absolutely. 1-2 on DJ. Pulled past Stu Cole. EY's back's better. EY's back on the first base coaching lines. Then he was out there for him yesterday. Back and tightened up. All that base stealing for EY back in the day. Now, we say this because we love him. He's not as svelte as he was when he was playing. But I always tell him, I said, you're closet lifting on us.
Yes, he is.
Right? He is strong now. And sneaking in that weight room in off hours. He's going to come back as a middle of the order guy.
Somebody's going to hit some bombs. What a great teammate. We had the good fortune of playing with EY in 2000 with the Cubs. He's a wonderful guy.
2-2, and that's fouled off. Yeah, you mention this periodically, and I know George mentions it. Even though you guys have been removed from the game for a while now, you remember the guys that were your greatest teammates.
Yes, you do. Spent so much time with them. You know, good guys. You also remember a few you didn't get along with. But most of the good guys, those are going to the forefront of your brain.
Ian Kennedy strikes out the side. We'll go to the third, no score. Join in on the conversation. Send us your thoughts and photos. Use Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, and include the hashtag ToyotaTalk. John Gray last night threw 5 innings, 69 pitches. He allowed a run in the first, and then he was almost unhittable after that. 4 hits in total. 2 came in the first inning. Did not walk a batter, struck out 5. He impressed a lot of the San Diego Padres, and he impressed the Padres manager, Pat Murphy, in particular.
I think they were very impressed. Thought his heater was very good. They're really impressed with his changeup. You know, that he had such command of it, and the makings of a great slider. They were all impressed. They felt like the ball played even higher than the velo suggested. You know, the velo was up to 98 or something like that, and they felt like, yeah, it was really good.
And Pat Murphy relaying, as Austin Hedges fouls it off, what guys were saying when they came back to the dugout. And I talked to a couple of guys this morning. Angervi Solarte said, you know, he said, boy, really good fastball. Dave Roberts was saying the guys came back and they were really impressed with his glove side command. And that's something that young pitchers in particular struggle with. to get the ball to a righty to that outside corner. Nolan on the backhand has it. 1 out. And they didn't, on tape, they thought he was going to pitch up in the zone more, and he commanded down. And yet what we witnessed and what we heard after the game from John Gray, to steal Tiger Woods' now famous line, he didn't have his A stuff.
Not like he had in New York, but it was still maybe a B+ stuff is what he had, because John went out there in the first inning, got hit with the fastball, then immediately went to some off-speed pitches before he could get back to the fastball and the location that he wanted to get to. And hitters will tell you, and we've mentioned it on the broadcast before numerous times, that a guy can throw 90, but it looks 95. Other guys are throwing 95, but it just doesn't seem that hard. And they pick it up easily. Well, John has the velocity, and they're struggling picking it up. And that's high praise from a guy making his third start.
Melvin Upton Jr. with the first hit of the ball game, a shot into left center field. So with 1 out, Ian Kennedy will come up.
Melvin, since he's come back, he missed a bunch of games. His last 25 games, hitting close to 275. I think that ball didn't do what Jose thought it was going to do. He kind of froze for a second as it was hit and then reacted.
Kennedy can handle the bat. Typically a bunting situation. And he bunts it pretty hard at Russin. Russin to second, on to first. Double play. So important to field your position well. Terrific throw by Russin to Jose Reyes. 1-6-3 on the turn. 1-6-4. Let me correct that. It was LeMahieu at first. They're going to stand for a moment because Murphy wants to make sure, naturally, that Kennedy was indeed out at first base.
Yes, he was. Ball and glove. He never touched first.
Yeah,
he drug it with his back foot.
Yeah, that's probably not the best technique.
Just saying. That's something you teach.
No score. We go to the bottom of the third. Afternoon. With every challenge call, the Subaru eyesight review will determine the outcome. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. Imagine that phone call from the video department underneath to Pat Murphy. Skip, yeah, he beat it. He beat it by like 3 steps. There was one issue, though. What was that? He never came close to touching first base.
Yeah, I just took a big stride over the bag and then did the slide with my foot. I'm sorry, we've got a bad connection.
Yeah.
What did you just say?
Right. Rustin will hit third this inning. McHenry, McBride, and Chris Russin. McHenry's been throwing an assortment of pitches, and every one has found the strike zone. Good curveball there, and it's 0-2 on McHenry.
A lot of strikes. 24 strikes out of 31 pitches.
Rockies had 10 hits yesterday in the 7-5 defeat. Coughed up leads of 3-1 and 5-4. Fifth time this year they've blown a lead after 8 innings.
20th time they've scored 5 or more runs and lost.
Down the line, that's a good pickup by Spangenberg and a good throw. Corey Spangenberg takes a double away from Michael McHenry.
Spangenberg had missed 36 ball games after being taken out at second base by Nick Ahmed. Goes down the line, takes him a minute to gather himself. Also had some help over at first base by Norris on a short pick. The Subaru Supermo, he comes up over the top like you have to do when you're playing the left side of the infield. You don't have the luxury of dropping down and throwing it 3/4.
Listen, that was a fine play and a good throw. Gives you an idea of the kind of arm strength, though, when you watch that Nolan Arenado has.
Night and day.
Yeah, I mean, the ball just carries when Nolan throws it. He gets behind it. I like this kid, though,
I do too.
Spangenberg.
Good athlete.
He's a terrific
bunny
athlete.
laid down last night, got down the line, can play multiple positions. Left-handed hitter.
Yeah, I asked Murphy, I said, if you lined up your 25-man roster, where's Spangenberg in a 40 or a 60? I don't care, you know, whatever race you want to run. He said he's going to be right there. He said, you know, Melvin could still run. Melvin Upton Jr. He said Will Venable runs well. He said, but I'm not so sure that Spangenberg's not first. He did add, he said Solarte will not be in the top 3.
He would be more towards the back of the pack is what he was trying to be politically correct.
He just said he will not be in the top 3. and it wasn't a nasty shot. It was a good-natured shot because that's not part of Jan Hervis's game. Getting the day off today. Solarte is. Matt McBride with a 3-1 count. Matt looking for his first hit since coming back to the big leagues. Jerko steals a base hit from McBride. Terrific play by Jed Jerko.
3-1 count. You're not expecting the ball to be hit to your left on the line as a second baseman. You're thinking if I've got to go anywhere, it's going to be up the middle trying to get out. But the way the pitch was and where it was, Matt goes with it, and then Jerko just laying out to rob Matt of a hit.
So here's Chris Russin, one of the better hitting pitchers in the National League. And this ball's in the air, left center field, and little brother calls off big brother, and it's another 1-2-3 inning for Ian Kennedy. We'll go to the 4th. It's been 1 hit.
I have a special guest today. Standing to my left is Mike Trujillo. Mike, you went to Mullen High and pitched in the big leagues for which teams?
Boston, Seattle, and Detroit.
Pitched in the AL, went to the University of Northern Colorado. So you have connections with TR. Tommy Ronald's the bench coach.
I do. TR played there before I did, a couple years before. And so, yeah, we go way back.
And before we talk about the special lady here today, tell us about your connection with the skipper, Walt Weiss.
Walt, I have the distinction of giving Walt Weiss only career grand slam.
How about that, Drew and Jeff?
In Detroit, against the A's, got Seiko out, struck out McGuire. Walt took me deep.
That's a fun story, but an even better story is your grandmother here today. Tell us who's here and about this special day.
This is my grandmother, Julia. She is 100 years old this week. Very special lady. This is all the clan. They've come in from all around the country to celebrate her 100th birthday, and we're just glad she's with us.
Mike said that her husband, your grandfather, taught you how to throw a curve.
He did. He, way back in the day, played against the old Barnstormers. Wow. So, yeah, baseball goes along back way in our family, too.
So, show Julia again, Jim, so that everybody can get a good look at somebody who just turned 100. And we have a special gift, too, for Julia. This comes from TR and comes from the team. We have an autographed 2015 Rockies baseball. So, Mike, what a great day, huh?
Thank you very much.
Here you go, gentlemen. This is from the Rockies.
That is tremendous. How good does she look?
I was thinking the same thing. Coming to a ball game.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Spangenberg hits a floater to center. It's going to drop. So Corey Spangenberg leads off with a sand wedge to center in the 4th inning. Speed aboard for San Diego. Well, bless you. She is a beautiful, beautiful lady. I remember when Mike pitched in the big leagues. I'm sure you do, obviously.
Never faced him. When he was in the American League before I moved over there, I was still playing for Montreal.
Derek Norris, a ground ball to second, his first time up. Norris hitting .436 against the Rockies in 2015. Last 14 games, he's hitting .365, so he's picked it up offensively, not just against Colorado. You know, he threw out 3 would-be base stealers last night. He has now thrown out 31 potential thieves, if you will. That's the most, not only in baseball this year, it's the most in the game since 2012.
He also tied Rivera, who used to play for the Padres, with most guys showing out in a ball game.
Charlie makes the catch, 1 out.
You want to be at Coors Field when the Washington Nationals come to town this Tuesday through Thursday. Get your tickets today, August 18th, 19th, and 20th. And good news for the Nationals, Bryce Harper is okay. He had to foul the ball off his foot. X-rays were negative. So he should be in the lineup.
That's the only good news for Washington right now.
You're exactly right.
Washington has really underachieved with that pitching staff.
And they're 500, 58-58.
And some of the names in that lineup. I mean, Harper's had an MVP type of season. You know, Ian Desmond went deep yesterday. Ryan Zimmerman swung it well in the Rockies series in D.C. last week. But just collectively, they're not winning games. And the Mets have lost 2 in extra innings. But the Mets control that division right now.
4.5 game lead for the Mets.
The Mets are going to lose again today. They're down 8-1 to the Pirates in the 8th inning.
I think that just goes to show you how good the Pirates are. You look at their record, where they sit, just happen to be in the same division as the Cardinals.
That whole division's good because the Cubs are maybe the hottest team in baseball. The Cubs are 67-48. The Pirates 68-46. You have 3 remarkable teams all in the same division. Again, I know it's August 16th, but right now it appears that all 3 of those teams are going to be in the postseason. Both wild cards are going to come out of the Central, which really puts the heat on the Nationals.
It does, because you can't think, well, if we're 5 games over, 7 games over, we're going to be okay and make the playoffs. Even when we were back there in Washington, there was some rumblings. People were wondering when this team was going to start playing, meaning the Nationals. And they've gone the opposite way.
Matt Kemp takes low. It's 2-1. 1 out. Spangenberg at first. You know, sometimes you look at names on a piece of paper and you say, boy, I like this team. The Padres have gone through this. Boy, I like this team on paper. Shields and Kennedy and Tyson Ross and now Matt Kemp and Justin Upton and, you know, Will Myers, Will Middlebrooks. And yet the Padres begin play today despite having won the first 2 games in this series as Cargo makes a catch. 56-61. That's not what they had planned.
That's why you play the game. Wasn't there a commercial about that? And NFL coach saying the same thing?
Yeah, and Bill Parcells was famous for saying this, speaking of NFL coaches who've had a lot of success. After the season, he'd always say, you are who you are. Don't give me ifs, ands, and buts, woulda, coulda, shoulda. You are who you are. If the record says you're 8-8 after 16 NFL games, that's who you are. And the same thing in baseball. When you've played closing in on 120 games, when you're 5 games under 500, guess what? That's who you are. It's not that it's not recoverable. We've seen teams go on streaks. The Rockies in 07 went on a tremendous streak late. They ended up winning 90 games when it looked like they were going to be, you know, somewhere around a 500 team. But when you've played this many, you are who you are for the most part.
Numbers don't lie on the back of a baseball card. You try to spin it as a hitter, say, well, if I hadn't gone into that 2-week slump. Pitcher, if I hadn't, can we just take those 2 or 3 starts out of my thing? My ERA would be a half a run lower. No, it doesn't work that way.
You know, it's like those sports information directors, media folks are good at doing that, and honestly, it is part of their job. But you know, the qualifiers. If you remove, like you said, these 2 weeks or these 4 starts or these 3 games for the quarterback, they are such and such. Well, guess what? You can't do that. Justin Upton behind Chris Russ in 0-2. Spangenberg a leadoff single. He's still stationed at first. Norris flew out. Kemp flew out.
See, you just put a mouthpiece in. See, more and more baseball players start to utilize that.
I was watching a concert the other day. The pianist put a mouthpiece in. It's everywhere now. Here's the 0-2 outside. 1-2. Got nothing from you, crickets.
Well, I'm just trying to think. Are you telling me the truth or are you pulling my leg?
It would be the latter.
That's what I thought. Didn't want to jump right to that conclusion because I didn't know. I don't watch that many concerts or see that many.
You have to broaden your horizons. You'll notice little things like I noticed that night. 1-2, and the cutter's inside. 2-2. Got that one in on the knuckles, fouled off. Padres with the win yesterday guaranteed themselves their first series win in Denver since late June and early July of 2012. At the start of this series, the Rockies had won 16 of the previous 23 between these two clubs here at 20th and Blake. Jerko on deck. Padres have 9 victories against the Rockies this year. 3-2.
Must have been inside. And by probably the width of a baseball that was on the forward strike zone. Yeah, it was a ball, but so enticing. Yet Justin said, no, I didn't want it.
It's always amazing how well polished big league hitters know the strike zone. Ground ball to Arenado, sets his feet, makes an accurate throw, and a nice job by Chris Russin. Spangenberg left at first after a leadoff single. Happy 100th birthday to Julian Trujillo. Got a strong fan, and we'll get you in an upcoming game, we hope, brought to you by T-Mobile. Okay, the Rockies are going to recalibrate. They've been through the lineup once. Nobody reached against Ian Kennedy. He struck out 4. So here's Charlie Blackmon's second look this Sunday afternoon at Ian Kennedy. He popped to second his first time, and it's an off-speed pitch, strike 1.
And that's what he got the first 4 hitters out that he faced for Colorado. Then the next 5 guys were all fastballs.
He's had a good curveball today. 40 pitches, 29 strikes, just 11 out of the zone. That's inside. And that was with purpose, trying to move him off the plate 1-1. Rockies with the 2 losses in this series, now 25-31 at home. Nothing in the center of the plate so far for Ian Kennedy.
Mixed it up, moved it in and out, up and down. Hitters can cover 2 quadrants. The good ones can cover 3, maybe 3.5, but not all 4.
That's off his foot. Again, the Rockies trying to snap a 6-game losing streak, 7 straight against the Padres. And the Padres are one of 6 teams historically the Rockies have played well against. They're one of 6 teams that they have a winning record against all time.
That's 7-game winning streak for the Padres against Colorado. That ties the club record for the longest that they've had. They did it one other time against Colorado. That was back in 97-98.
You're wondering the other 5 teams that the Rockies have a winning record against: the Cincinnati Reds, the Milwaukee Brewers, the Pittsburgh Pirates, the Washington Nationals.
3 in the Central, 1 in the East, 1 in the West.
Well, I'm looking at the game notes, and they said 6, and they wrote the Padres twice, so I'm trying to find the 5th team. Or the 6th team, if you will. Two and 2. Good job by Charlie. Such a typical Charlie Blackmon at bat, isn't it?
It's going to be the 9th pitch of this at bat.
Rockies without a base runner so far as they hit the bottom of the 4th. Outside. And now it's 3 and 2.
Backdoor curveball.
Charlie knew it. That's strikeout number 5.
Just saw in the forward strike zone all over the place with every pitch until that 10th one.
Ian Kennedy proving you can throw a curveball at altitude.
You just have to set your sights lower and think about your release point.
Didn't get on top of that one. It's ball 1 on Reyes. Reyes struck out his first time. Jose hitting .217 in a Rockies uniform. That's exactly what Tulowitzki's hitting so far in a Blue Jays uniform, coincidentally.
Toronto snapped the Yankees' small 2-game win streak.
They won 3-1 earlier today. So now Toronto trails by a half game in the AL East. Well, the AL East is another one of those tough divisions. You got the Orioles 4 games over 500. Nobody talks about Buck Showalter's club. And the Rays, once again, they're hanging around, right?
And with a new manager.
That's inside. They're
not Joe
500.
Madden. And we saw the Red Sox on the bottom, but best wishes to John Farrell.
Absolutely. He was
That's
diagnosed
the rest of the year.
Diagnosed with stage 1 lymphoma. Another strikeout for Kennedy. Off-speed pitch. Who wants tacos? When the Rockies score 7 or more, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations. Do it the next day between 4 and 6 to receive your Rockies taco special from Taco Bell. Cargo hit a fly ball to center his first time up. 11 in a row, retired to begin the ball game for Ian Kennedy. Ian, a guy that typically has pitched well at Coors Field. They set up away, and the ball misses location. It's ball 1. This ball driven high and deep center field. Upton going back, and this one is gone. Carlos Gonzalez. 1-0 Rockies on his 27th of the year. So with 2 outs in the 4th inning, the no-hitter, the shutout, all gone with one terrific swing from number 5.
The pregame show talked about the number of home runs that Ian Kennedy gives up. We talked about it to start this broadcast. 26th home run allowed by Ian Kennedy. Is there anybody better than taking a ball that's at least on the black, maybe off the plate away from him and hitting it out to center field at Cargo? Not sure.
Yeah, not that we've seen.
No, 27th bomb for Cargo.
Nolan Arenado follows it up with a line shot to left for the final out in the 4th inning. But the Rockies get the crowd out of their seat with another big fly for Cargo, number 27, RBI, number 67, 1-0 Rockies. Future of Tough by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Rockies leading 1-0 on the home run from Carlos Gonzalez to dead central. Jed Jerko in the 5th inning against Chris Russin. Russin in his last outing against the Mets, 1 run in 6 innings of work is a 2-out single, a seeing eye single that produced the run. Ruben Tejada with the base hit. That was it against Chris Russin in New York. And so far the Padres have been blanked. This is line to left. Stay up long enough for McBride to get there. It will. 1 out. And that'll bring up Clint Barmes.
Star Wars Night is back for the 2015 season, and it's this Saturday with a pregame parade for fans in costume. Purchase the Star Wars ticket package to receive the 2015 limited edition Star Wars Night t-shirt.
Here's Barmy, popped up his first time. To Jose Reyes outside, talking to Dave Roberts for a long time this morning about several topics, and one of them was Clint Barmes, because Barmy came by. Nobody who's met Clint Barmes in the game that doesn't adore him. And he said, you know, he'd be a heck of a coach one day. You think he wants to do that? And I said, you know, perhaps. He's always talked about staying in the game. And you've been around him a ton. You were an instructor for a period of time in the Cubs organization. He'd be terrific, wouldn't he?
A wealth of knowledge. And he likes the game. He likes talking about the game, being around it. Dave Roberts, another guy, though, that I think in the very, very near future will be a big league manager.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about that. Here's a 2-1, a base hit for Barmes. And he has been a huge help. I'm glad you mentioned that, Huey, because he has been a huge help to Pat Murphy. Pat is a well thought of baseball man. He was managing in AAA for the Padres. He comes to the big leagues, and all of his experience for the most part until recently was at the collegiate level. Arizona State, Notre Dame, as we chatted about earlier. So he doesn't know all the players really well that they're facing, unlike a guy like Dave Roberts, who as your bench coach, I mean, you have a guy that this ball's well hit to left field, but McBride will get there. You have a guy that knows everybody in the league backwards and forwards who's been in the league for so long, and that's huge for Pat Murphy.
And this division specifically, when you're playing that many games against teams with the unbalanced schedule. And Dave, been with the Padres for a number of years, was a first base coach, instructor. But it helps because he's been a bench coach now for a few years. So it's not like his first year bench coaching to go along with a manager that's just coming up to the big leagues for the first time. He has some extra experience to help Pat along.
Sure. Here's Melvin Upton. Melvin has one of the 3 hits for San Diego against Chris Russ, and that's in there for a strike. Melvin Upton's a big fan of Pat Murphy because Pat has made it a priority to try to get Upton back to the guy he was with in Tampa Bay, and he's playing every day. He's hit 275, pretty solid since the 7th, I should say, of July.
You have to see what you have in this guy.
I mean, it's in there somewhere.
It is.
Just
it's
go
been
away,
there before.
right?
It's not like, oh, it just disappeared overnight. Battled some injuries, had some swing issues that he was trying to work through and correct.
Rustin ahead 0-2. Fifth inning, Rockies up 1-0 on the home run by Gonzalez. Earlier we were talking about the Rockies having a winning record against 6 teams. That's what was stated in the Rockies notes. Actually, they were off by 1. It's 5 teams: Cincinnati, Milwaukee, Pittsburgh, Washington / Montreal,
but that only
and the
counts
Padres.
as 1.
That only counts as 1. So 5 clubs in the National League that they have a winning record against. Here's the 1-2, just missed.
Chris thought it was a strike.
You could tell he did.
Set up away, hits the target, doesn't move it, locks in. Chris didn't want to show up CB Buckner, so he turned his back. Just looked towards center field.
Swung on and missed. He came back, got him the next pitch. Foul tip held by Mike McHenry. That is the first strikeout of the ball game for Chris Russ, and he's been in complete control. Middle of 5, 1-0 Rockies.
go here to the bottom of the 5th inning. I'm going to have Jim Hucks, our photographer, show you the pitcher's mound and the pitcher's rubber, because this gets us to our all-copy fun fact. Back in 1893, it was that year that baseball decided to move the pitcher's box, which is what it had been known as, from 50 feet to 60 feet 6 inches. It started at 45, went to 50, moved back, and they had what they called a pitcher's plate, a rubber plate that was 12 inches by 4 inches, now known as a pitcher's rubber, and a nice bunt by Ben Paulson as he gets on. So let's show you what happened in 1893. The first no-hitter at 60 feet 6 inches was pitched on this day that year by Bill Hawk, and it was of the Baltimore Orioles. So prior to that, the rubber had been closer. Interesting that they did that, guys, because the year before, 9 players hit 300 or better, and then after they moved it back, 30 did in 1893. So that was a big year for just the way the game is played.
Well, I'm just thinking, what would Jacob deGrom look like from 50 feet?
How about 35?
I have enough nightmares. I don't need any more.
And originally it was a box. You just kind of threw from the box.
Well, it's like when they had to lower the mound because of Gibson.
That 68 season, Gibson with the 1.12 ERA. Denny McLain in the American League with Detroit had a tremendous season. 31 wins. DJ LeMahieu after the bunt single. How about Ben Paulson? Showing a little different part of his game. 1-0 Colorado, leadoff man on. Just the second base runner for the Rockies.
Well,
first permanent base runner.
Yeah, and this is textbook bunting. See how he bunts it? He has that top hand nice and loose so it deadens the ball. Then you got all that area right there to go ahead and lay her down. That's how you beat a shift.
It's just smart. It shows some savvy on Paulson's part. DJ, good hit and run man. This is slowly hit to short. Barnes hustles and they still turn it over.
That was the work of Jerko more than Clint. Yeah, he had to come in and get it, but not a real good feed to Jerko at second base. Threw a changeup to Jed. Gets it. Makes a toss, but you see how he just kind of threw it out of there and rolled out of the side of the fingers and had to duck out of the way. Just look at the transfer. Not how you design it, but good enough that it got there.
And Jerko did a great job. McHenry takes a fastball for a strike. Mike hits a high fly ball. It's going to drift into the seats foul.
Asking for the curveball in the dirt. Rockies fans, it's back to school time at the Dugout Store. Shop the back to school sale with great brands and styles through the end of August. I know some schools have started back. Your kids started back on Friday, Drew. Colleges start up soon. Still time to get some gear.
2-2.
Even Mike Bobo last night, the CSU Rams head football coach, talking about how early school started out here.
Thank God. Thank goodness after that arduous one day of school, they had a weekend behind it.
Well, they started too fast.
That's right. Break them in slowly.
Break them in slowly.
Ask my kids, you still got straight A's? Three and two. Swung on and missed. In the inning, a base hit by Paulson on a bunt single. He was erased on the double play. We'll go to the 6th inning. Just one run and the Rockies have it. Has been very good. The difference in the ball game, Carlos Gonzalez, who hit his first home run amazingly against the Padres since 2012. His second career home run against Ian Kennedy. And right now that's the difference. Kennedy's allowed 2 hits. One was a bunt single. He struck out 7, hasn't walked anybody. Chris Russin has been terrific as we go to the 6th inning. It will be Ian Kennedy first and then the top of the order. Former Kentucky star Chris Russin.
Chris looking for his first win since June 21st, but it's not like he's pitched bad. 9 games, 8 starts, and ERA below 4.
He's been very good. Works quickly, focused, smart on the mound, competitive.
And he knows what type of pitcher he is. That's the trap that some young pitchers get in. They don't know what they are.
Scouts will tell you this. Former players like yourself will tell you this. The one thing in any sport that you can't assess, it's more difficult to assess. I guess you can assess it, but you got to watch for a while. Is what's inside a guy. Talent, physical talent, is more readily on display than what a guy has internally.
And that's where numbers don't tell the whole story. I mean, I know there's a lot of analytics in the game today, and there's a lot of good numbers out there. But you also have to be able to put your eyes on a guy and watch him and use a combination of both.
Yeah, we can talk about WAR and runs created, plus all the different newfangled stats, but none of them have anything to do with heart. None of them have anything to do with, as I like to say, as you know, chip on the shoulder guy, and I mean that in a positive way. Chris Russin's got it. Has Chris Russin going to all of a sudden become Clayton Kershaw? No, probably not. He doesn't have the stuff. But Chris Russin has demonstrated to Walt Weiss, he's demonstrated, I'm sure, to Jeff Bridich, that he belongs at this level in some capacity. There he goes quick again.
Even did it to the pitcher.
Because you don't stop competing.
Never. Figure that right. Now go. Throw off the hitting of the timing of the hitter. This time, take longer to do it.
2-2 on Ian Kennedy. High school teammate of Ian Stewart. Strike 3. Second strikeout for Russin. Corey Spangenberg will be coming up next. Let's take a look at some news and notes around baseball. Red Sox become the first team since 1950 to have 15 or more runs and 21 or more hits in back-to-back games. They scored 37 runs the last 2 days, and today they've scored another 8. They're in the 12th inning with Seattle tied at 8.
2 other notes on that. One of them came out after the no-hitter. The second one, the team to do it in 1950, was also the Boston Red Sox.
The Pirates relievers have won 15 consecutive decisions. It's the longest since the Pirates, also same deal, back in 1909 that won 22 straight decisions. This is live, but Jose Reyes has it. Spangenberg retired. The Cubs are playing sensational baseball. They've won 9 straight, 15 of 16. Last time they won 15 of 16 was 0-1. Prior to that, the year World War II came to a close.
That'll stay at 9 straight because they lost today against the White Sox on the south side. Chris Sale had a no-hitter going into the 6th inning, and then Dexter Fowler broke it up.
And the White Sox win that ball game 3-1. Shelby Miller had a no-hitter of some length today for Atlanta.
Nick Ahmed broke it up with a bloop single in the 8th.
2 outs. Derek Norris at the plate. Ground ball to second and a fly ball to center. Pitch count is outstanding. Just 67 darts so far thrown by Russin. Good pitch. Speaking of a dart, right on the outside corner.
He'll dart it away. He'll dart it in.
Year, Chris Russin pitching for the Iowa Cubs. No hit the New Orleans Zephyrs. It was kind of a game like this. He only struck out 3, he walked 2, threw 118 pitches to get it done.
And that was down in New Orleans.
It was in, yep, down in Metairie. That's a base hit. That'll allow Matt Kemp to hit here in the 6th. 5-game hitting streak going for Derek Norris. Day after every Rockies victory, get 50% off your online order at Papa John's. The promo code's RocksWin at papajohns.com. Kemp has twice hit the ball in the air to Cargo in right. This is pulled through the hole, a base hit. For the first time today, 2 base runners in the same inning for San Diego. And that'll bring up Upton.
First time a Padre has touched second base in the game.
Justin, a fly ball to center field and a ground ball to third. You know, Kemp taking off in the second half, that's really not a surprise. He historically has done that. He's got a 9-game hitting streak. Last 7 weeks, he's hit above 300. Post All-Star break, this is just the last 2 years. He's hit 308. Look at the slugging percentage. Close to 600, OPS 951.
It's a large jump.
It's a big jump.
Closing in towards that 1,000 for OPS. A lot of doubles for Matt Kemp to go along with the home runs.
Yeah, I mean, if you're above 800, pretty solid, real solid. You get above 850, then you got to talk about your Trouts and your Harpers and those guys, because that's ridiculous what they do.
We got a few extra points added after the cycle on Friday night.
Yes, that will help. This is the first pressure sequence for Chris Russin, and he falls behind a dangerous man in Justin Upton, 2-0. Rockies up 1-0.
It's the first time today for either team that they've had a runner in scoring position.
The Rockies have 2 hits, and one of them was the home run. Three and 0. You have Jerko on deck.
First 3-0 count, just the third 3-ball count for Chris.
And Justin Upton, we've watched him through the years, not opposed to swinging 3-0. There's some sluggers who don't like to do it. He'll fire 3-0. Not going to fire at that, and now the bases are loaded, and Jed Jerko coming up, who is swinging the bat well. But you can't look up and say 6th inning, well, he's getting fatigued, because the pitch count is just 75. And I like, there are times that a meeting is warranted, and that's what pitching coaches do, but Steve Foster knows his guys well, and he doesn't feel it's warranted here. He knows he's got a mature guy out on the mound. 28-year-old Chris Russin said, you know what, he'll figure it out.
And he's been pitching well.
A balk is called, the game's tied. Second base umpire Lance Barrett called a balk. It had to be that he didn't pause, and it's tied.
They're going to talk about this, though. Because Chris is trying to ask why. Why is that a balk? To me, if Lance Barrett can't immediately tell him what's wrong, then it really wasn't a balk. Because I don't think I've ever seen umpires get together after a balk's been called and say, well, maybe I didn't see it.
Yeah, this is strange. Usually it's called, and that's what it is. Let's see if he pauses. Because remember, he's been working out of the stretch even without guys on base. Well, you know what? That is a balk. That's a balk. He never paused.
Yeah, he never stopped. But here's the deal. He could do that because the bases are loaded. He could go from the windup. That's what he's been doing from the windup.
Oh, you know what?
You see?
You're right. You're right, because the bases are loaded.
The bases are loaded. He doesn't have to go from the stretch. And he's been doing that naturally as a windup.
That's a good catch, Huey. You're right.
And you can see what's the difference between his full windup, but that's his windup.
Well, as vociferously as Pat Murphy's arguing, after the get-together, it looks like they're going to take it back.
I think they should put it back. Bases loaded.
Well, Pat Murphy wouldn't be out there with his hands on hips if they weren't reversing it.
And remember, Dan Iasanya, he's the crew chief.
He's the acting crew chief today.
See, that's why we came together to talk about this. And I'm glad they did. To correct something that it wasn't an error.
Murphy just got thrown out.
letting them still talk. Most of the time you get thrown out, you got to get going.
Yeah, and that's where, when you talk about Rob Manfred, is one of the things he's implemented, and Pat's going to go off now, is that, the whole time element thing. And once you get tossed, you may be saying another few words, but the umpire's basically saying we're moving on.
We're going to split screen this. The one on the left is the earlier in the game, and the one on the right is what they call the balk for. See, they're similar. With the bases loaded, he can do whatever he wants.
Yeah. And that's exactly, I'm sure, what the explanation was. And that's why they came together. And it's a good job by this crew to get together. Because what Lance Barrett saw was a balk if you're working out of the stretch and the bases aren't loaded. He did not have a definitive pause. Dave Roberts will run the team, and now Dave's coming out. This can't be a continuation of the same thing. I mean, well, you're going to now have the pitching coach come out, Darren Balsley. You're going to have one of the hitting coaches come out. Mark Kotze next.
Now the next question becomes, what's the count on the hitter?
Well, the balk was called, so it should be no pitch. It's almost like nothing happened.
It's just start over.
Because I don't know if C.B. Buckner, he hears balk. I don't even know if he made a call on the pitch, right? I don't recall. There's no count.
No count. 2 outs. Guys are at first, second, and third. Got it.
And again, no count on the scoreboard. So,
but watch what Chris does. Does he go in the windup? Yeah, he just does the same thing.
Swung on and missed. So Jerko, who lined out in his last at bat, also had a ground ball to second with an 0-1 count. Norris at third, he singled. Kemp singled, he's at second. Upton walked on 4 pitches. He's at first. On the outside corner, 0-2.
And he even went with the quick pitch out of the windup.
Yeah, take full advantage of the rule.
Nothing wrong with that either.
Slider on the outside corner. Now he's got Jerko on his heels. Make one more pitch, get out of it. Rockies up 1-0 in the 6th. The 0-2, ground ball to third. And Arenado, long throw, perfect. Nice job, Chris Russin. The Padres leave them loaded. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th. The Rockies ahead on the Cargo home run. By Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. And by Tavern Downtown, visit Tavern Downtown after Rockies home games. Get 2-for-1 draft beers with your same day ticket. Rockies up 1-0. Matt McBride in the 6th inning will be first against Ian Kennedy. It has been a Sunday afternoon pitchers duel. Chris Russin and Ian Kennedy. Dave Roberts now handling the managerial chores for the Padres. 3rd ejection this year for Pat Murphy. And I give Lance Barrett a lot of credit. I'm not just saying this because it went the way of the Rockies. Lance Barrett saw what you and I saw, and it didn't look right. He didn't pause. And then he realized, wait a second, all bets are off. It's a bases loaded situation. He does not have to pause. He can go from the windup if he chooses. Now you can choose to do that with a runner on first also. Wouldn't be wise, but that's how he had pitched the whole day. And they got it right. It's the number one thing.
And they got together as a group to discuss it.
The Coors Light Cold Hard Facts are brought to you by Clean and Crisp Coors Light, the game's most refreshing beer. Russin coming up with 1 out, and we look at the big league batting leaders from a pitching standpoint. Minimum of 25 ABs. Michael Lorenzen of the Reds is number 1. He was a two-way player at Fresno State. Doug Fister, in fact, he was an All-American swinging the bat. Doug Fister's hit 250, and then at 222, Chris Russin, who's also hit a home run this year.
Michael Lorenzen was just optioned out a few days ago, back down to AAA Louisville.
Well, Chris Russin faced Carlos Martinez in St. Louis, which is not fun for anybody, and he dropped the hammer on him.
I'll take your 97 miles an hour fastball and turn it around, hit it out.
That's not right. Strikeout number 8 for Kennedy.
That ties a season high for Ian. At 8 strikeouts on June 2nd against the Mets. Career high is 12.
Blackman a strikeout after a lengthy at bat. He got a breaking ball in the outside corner on a 3-2 pitch that froze him. 0-1 on Charlie. Two strikes.
This is probably the most consistent curveball we've seen from any pitcher this season. Dropping it off the table almost at will is Ian Kennedy.
Two-strike pitch on Blackman. Curveball again. Well, when was the last time? You look up on the scoreboard, bottom of the 6th inning, Rockies leading, and they have 2 hits.
Been a while.
It's on 1 hop to Barnes, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Ian Kennedy. So we move to the 7th. The difference in the game, a Carlos Gonzalez home run. Top of inning number 7, the Rockies up 1-0 with Jeff Houston and Mark Stout. I'm Drew Goodman. Chris Russin has been the story. He'll face Clint Barmes, leading things off in the 7th. Barmes 1 for 2. 5 singles allowed. That's it against Chris Russin this afternoon. Barmes also a pop to short. And this is back up the middle. DJ gets there on the move. Perfect throw. Boy, off the bat, once that had cleared Russin, you think, well, that's a base hit.
Thinking it's up the middle. Not going to have a chance. You have a leadoff hitter. It skips off the mound, and that slowed it down enough for DJ to circle around this baseball, because he catches it on the shortstop side of second base and has a strong arm to throw it sidearm. Did Barmy by a step.
Catcher Austin Hedges trying to bunt his way on. Seattle's taking a 10-8 lead in the 12th against Boston. Well, your old skipper Joe Madden, we were chatting earlier that the Cubs' 9-game winning streak is gone as they lose to the White Sox on the south side today. But it's really not a bad thing for all Cubs faithful out there, especially for the coaching staff and the players of the Chicago Cubs. Joe Madden, who says I'm just a little stitious. He got a little stitious. That's how he calls it. Not full-on superstitious. Was wearing the same socks for all 9 games.
Yeah, I heard he said they were very absorbent, so they didn't smell.
He said too much. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a bad thing if you're involved on a close-knit basis with the Cubs that they lost today. Fresh pair of socks for the skipper.
Some of those coaches are saying they're thankful that he has his own office.
Yes. 1-2 on Hedges. Ground ball to third. Good pickup. Arenado throws out Hedges. 2 outs. 2 ground balls. 2 more ground balls. And plenty of those from Chris Russin's work today. Here's the National League Central, the very good Central. The Cubs 18 games above 500, and you're in 3rd place. And the wild card chase, Pirates, who the Rockies will see on their next road trip, and the Cubs right there. And then the Giants are 4 back. It puts heat. We were talking about the NL East teams, in particular Washington. It also puts heat on the Giants, who are the closest pursuers of the LA Dodgers. Chris Russin, quick work in the 7th. Stretch time at Coors Field. Also on Sunday, we enjoy sticking around for a rendition of God Bless America. Rockies up 1-0.
Fans, the Colorado Rockies are proud to host and honor those who sacrifice on behalf of us all. With us on the field today is Sergeant Dustin Spires. Sergeant Spires joined the Army in June of 2012 and was assigned to Operation Enduring Freedom, where he served 1 deployment as an infantry rifleman in the Northern District. His awards include the Meritorious Unit Award, Valorous Unit Award, Army Commendation Medal, Army Good Conduct Medal, 1 Army Achievement Ribbon, and a Combat Infantry Badge. Joining him on the field today is his wife, Jessica. Fans, please join us and give a warm hero's welcome to Sergeant Dustin Spires and all of our nation's brave servicemen and women and their families. We thank you for your service and sacrifice for our great nation. Fans, please rise as we honor our great country with the performance of God Bless America. Performing God Bless America today Representing the United States Air Force Academy Band is Senior Airman Adrian Holton. Please welcome Senior Airman Holton and join him by singing along to God Bless America.
Cargo with the Rockies' first hit in the fourth inning, and it traveled 430 feet to center field, and that is the only run of the game. Chris Russin, 7 shutout innings, just 84 pitches. Here we go. In the bottom of the 7th, Jose Reyes leading things off against Ian Kennedy, who's pitched a splendid game as well. And he misses outside. Kennedy has matched his season high with 8 strikeouts. It's Reyes, Gonzalez, Arenado here in the 7th. And that's sharply hit up the middle. Barmes gets there, and off balance he throws to first. He can still pick it.
Doesn't matter throwing on the run for Clint. He sometimes prefers to do that rather than set his feet. That time he had to.
He's always been a bit of an unorthodox fielder in how he throws, especially when he comes and gets it. But at the end of the play, the guy's out, so it doesn't matter, does it?
Nope. You don't get style points. They don't add on.
No. Cargo, fly ball to center field in that home run.
And that home run by Cargo, that extended a streak for Ian Kennedy that he just set a Padres single season record by allowing a home run in 12 consecutive ball games.
That was the hardest pitch he threw, that first pitch there to Cargo, 95. And then he went soft behind it. It's 0-2. Cargo will take a walk. He's commanded his curveball. He's commanded the changeup. Obviously, he's moved the fastball in and out.
And even the fastball that Cargo took out was on the corner, if not off the plate by a half a baseball. Well, it wasn't belt high, center cut.
He shows fastball again in the mid-90s. It's 1-2. Two and two.
You wonder if he'll get the curveball. 44.4% chance that he will. Call for the changeup.
That was well located, down and away, moving away from a left-handed batter.
Well, then you're going to have to add some probability to that last when it comes up again.
Because that wasn't part of the equation.
There's only two options.
Yeah. Let's see all of the above.
That was usually my favorite choice when I didn't know.
Go back to the changeup. 3-2. And see, this is where a hitter typically, correct me if I'm wrong, will sit dead red, but at this level, with his arsenal and his command, who knows what he'll throw.
You still have to, because he showed you the 95-mile-an-hour fastball to start this at bat.
Wants fastball up. Cargo drives it up, and it's going to be caught, though. He got it just off the barrel. Off the bat, it looked better than it turned out. Thought he barreled it. He missed the barrel, obviously, by a little bit. It's an out to right center field.
Not much, and we'll freeze it on contact to see where he hit that. Yeah, here's the sweet spot out in that area. So he missed it by about an inch and a quarter.
Curveball's popped up and playable on the right side.
The
ball's dropped in fair territory by Derek Norris.
Just flat dropped it. Dave, I don't think you can ask for a challenge. You didn't have control of it.
Some guys on the Padre bench were telling Dave, listen, he was definitely in fair territory. It's not even close.
He even tried to use two hands. Off the thumb portion of the first baseman's glove on the Subaru Supermo.
Just the third base runner for the Rockies. Paulson, a bunt single his last time up. The Rockies have two hits, the home run and the bunt single by Paulson. This is line to left. This has got a chance to be fair. It is off the wall. Arenado to third will stop there on the Paulson double. So after the seventh inning, Paulson hits .836 after the seventh inning, or it seems like that.
Just about. He hit this so hard that didn't have time to do anything but hit hard off the wall right back to Justin Upton. He tried to go away, laid down a bunt in the fifth inning. Now doubles a rocket to left field. 2 hops back to Upton. That kept Nolan from scoring.
That was the quickest meeting I've ever seen. Dave Roberts, who again, he's the bench coach, but he's the acting manager. Pat Murphy was ejected. Dave walked out there, said, I don't know if he said 3 words, and turned around and came back.
Maybe he just told him we're going to walk this guy to pitch to the next one. But still, that you didn't even have time. You could have just said, wave some hand signals to make that. Would have been slower than what he did go walking out there.
So the walk LeMahieu to face McHenry. And again, with all due respect to Mike, he understands that makes sense. LeMahieu's one of the leading hitters in the National League and has been that way all year. And Mike, though he's had his moments, brought a .204 average into the game. He'll fire up number 8. He'll get the hit with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Derek Norris right now. He's got his toes crossed, his fingers crossed. He borrowed Joe Madden's socks for an out. But they were off the field. An easy pop-up that he could catch 10,000 out of 10,000 times.
Don't have to worry about any sun. A slight breeze, a little bit of a breeze, but not enough to change the direction of that ball. These are the moments you dig those spikes in a hitter's eyes. You just want to be that man right now.
This ball lined to right, and it is going to land one hop off the wall. 2 runs are scored. Here comes LeMahieu. Throw to the plate. Safe at the plate. McHenry to third. Rockies lead it 4-0. Now, how big was that drop pop by Derek Norris? A 1-0 game has become a 4-run affair. Mike McHenry coming through.
What was I saying? These are the moments you live for. You want to be that guy after they walk somebody intentionally. It was Michael Ever.
What are they? They're going to look at something.
They're looking at the play at home.
The plate?
The play at the plate. Straight four-seam fastball, and Michael drives it to right center field. I mean, there was no doubt that this was going to be a base hit. The only question was it going to hop over the wall? Stayed in fair territory, and the relay from Jed Jerko. Now the slide, did they get DJ on the right foot? That's what they'll be looking at back in New York. Now he's in there. He's in there. See that? From the other angle, you see the glove go over the top of the foot. Never touched him. Oh, wait a second. I take that back. Didn't see it from that third angle. Looked like they might have gotten him on the shoelaces.
Time for a Subaru review. Whether you're on the road or at the game, everybody could use a second set of eyes. From that angle, it certainly looks like the glove is contacting the shoe
before it goes over the plate. From the first 2 angles, didn't look that way.
Where's the toe in relation to the plate? And it's before he got to the plate. One of the things they do in New York, which we could do, but it's really time consuming to do it, so it's hard for us to get it done in a short period of time, is they sync up every camera angle and look at them together, so they can say, okay, that one angle has the good view of LeMahieu's spikes, and here's the other one that shows the glove contacting, and they make sure the frames are exactly the same, which helps them determine.
And they'll have a crew, a regular umpire crew there, and if they have any question, they can call a couple other guys over and say, what do you see in this? But that's why I thought from that angle, it looked like the glove went over the top of the foot. It
almost looks like he whiffed.
But that gives you the best view. But they're taking a while back in New York, and again, the call on the field was he was safe.
Well, I'll tell you, while they do that, Washington's losing again, 5-0 in San Francisco. Bumgarner on the mound, throwing a shutout in the 8th inning. He's also hit a home run. So it's kind of a normal day at the office for Madison Bumgarner. It's at least 3-0 here. The Rockies hoping it's going to be 4-0. Here's Diana Asanya with the call. Safe! Outstanding. So it's 4-0.
And it goes back to the original call was safe.
A 3-run double from Mike McHenry. And now that'll be all for Ian Kennedy. So Dave Roberts will pull Ian Kennedy. All 3 runs in this inning are unearned. Derek Norris, I'm sure, not feeling real good right now. Drop pop-up, which would have been the 3rd out. Rockies took advantage. In the 4th, the Rockies had just 2 hits, and then after the error by Derek Norris, Mike McHenry, a bases-loaded 3-run double. And now Sean Kelly replaces Ian Kennedy. Runner at 3rd, and Matt McBride a chance to give the Rockies a 5-0 lead. 41st appearance for Kelly. Kelly's been very good for the Padres.
Yeah, durable guy, too. 42 innings into 40 games, pitched 2/3 of an inning Friday night, gave up a hit, had 1 strikeout. Lefties and righties, not much difference between the two in batting average, 247 and 220.
Yeah, we were looking at that replay, and I'm thrilled that it went the Rockies' way. I don't understand what they were looking at, because the glove hit the laces of DJ Spikes before DJ got the foot across home plate, but thank goodness it did. Now the Rockies have a 4-0 lead instead of a 3-0 lead. I know folks in San Diego are saying, what on earth?
The shoelaces, you can see.
You see them move.
They moved. It's like when we've seen fielders tag a base runner, and it happened, I don't know if it was earlier this year, maybe last year, where the lace of his glove hit the base runner, and that's considered part of the glove, and he was out.
One and 2 on McBride. 2-2.
A good time for Matt to come through with his first hit this year.
He got robbed of a hit in the 3rd inning, a diving stab on a low line drive by the second baseman Jed Jerko. Also a ground ball to 3rd for Matt. Here's the 2-2 from Kelly. 3-2.
High Sox work for Michael.
And Kelly strikes out McBride. In the inning, the Rockies come up with 3 runs. They have a 4-0 lead now as we go to the 8th. Michael McHenry, a 3-run double. Father and baby. Can't say they're at Coors Field. It looks very much like they're on their living room couch, but checking out the Rockies. Got his full regalia on. That a way to go. That looks like a newborn. 4-0. The Rockies leading the Padres. Chris Russin out there in the 8th inning. Gotta love it. Yangervis Solarte will pinch hit for Sean Kelly. 9-1-2 for the Padres in the top of the 8th. One other change to tell you about in left field. McBride has come out, and Brandon Barnes has entered the ball game. So Solarte, starter at third the last 2 days, takes high ball 1.
And hitting right-handed, hitting .211 on the season, 16 for 76.
Chris Russin. This with a slider, 85 pitches in as he pitches here in the 8th.
11 ground ball outs, 8 flyouts, a couple strikeouts.
Chris Russin, he's not fazed by a lot of things out there. He's got a tough, mature demeanor and a check swing. This is hit to DJ. He's got plenty of time. DJ's such a smart player. You were this way, Huey. He came charging hard, and he realized also that he had a guy that does not run particularly well in Solarte.
I don't have to catch it as a slow roller. I can charge after it, but then break down and field it with 2 hands. That was the key. So you'll see some guys just continue to run through that ball and then maybe bobble it or just try to field it on the run, make an off-balance throw. DJ didn't have to do that and recognize he didn't have to.
Spangenberg takes a breaking ball for a strike. Corey today, a single in the 4th inning. Comebacker in a line out. And this is in the air to Blackman, routine fly ball. 2 outs.
On the road traveling and want to watch your Rockies? Subscribe to MLB.TV Premium for live or on demand on over 400 devices. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking, and more. Well, this sets a season high for Chris in innings pitched. He twice earlier this year, and it came in his first and his third start. He went 7 innings. 7 2/3.
Derek Norris at the plate. 1 for 3. And he takes a strike. Just pounded the strike zone.
You get out of this within the next couple, 2-3 pitches. You run him back out there for the 9th. Let him go for a complete game.
Why not?
The only real trouble he had was in the 6th. He had a couple base hits, the walk, and then the balk, non-balk reset didn't phase him.
2-1. The email from Major League Baseball offices in New York, the replay official could not definitively determine that the tag had been made on DJ's foot prior to his foot touching home plate. So that's why the Rockies got that extra run when it appeared that he had tagged him prior to crossing home plate. Good for the Rockies. They'll take it.
It goes back to the call on the field. What happened first?
3-1 on Norris, and a ground ball on 3 hops to Reyes. Out by a smidgen. And we noticed this yesterday. Derek Norris, runs hard, and yeah, you know he's a catcher by trade. He runs well for a catcher, something I'm sure Jose Reyes now will file away. 4-0 Rockies. Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. By Mike Shaw Subaru, always our lowest price and sales and service guaranteed. And by StubHub. Rockies fans, did you know the StubHub app is personalized just for you? Get the StubHub app today. Been an interesting affair at Coors Field. The Rockies leading 4-0, bottom of the 8th inning. Chris Russin has thrown a shutout so far, and he's due to lead off here in the bottom of the 8th. Kevin Quackenbush is on for the Padres. And guess what? He's going to swing the bat. He's going to have an opportunity to throw a complete game.
I like it.
Love it.
I like it a whole lot.
Well, going
he
back
deserves
to
that honor.
Going back to something we discussed earlier, I know Ryan Spilborghs on the pregame show had mentioned this, that the Rockies, especially the way the bullpen had performed of late, needed length out of Chris Russin. Well, they're going to get more than perhaps anybody bargained for this afternoon from Chris. 4-0 Colorado. Ball 1 on Russin. And a base hit for Russ. That's the only thing he was missing today. He hadn't thrown out anything on offense.
Now raise that average from 222 to 233.
Now he's just got to go get a bag.
John Gray, David Hale looking on. That's just a really nice swing. I don't care if you're a pitcher or position player.
Outside on Charlie.
They're not afraid to pitch Quackenbush back-to-back days. Yesterday, he threw 2 innings, so when he was trotting in to start this inning, I was a little perplexed.
Well, I had him as question mark today. This is loop to shallow center. It is going to drop. First to third goes Chris Russell. He runs well also. A lot of times he is an athlete. A lot of times you don't get to see a pitcher run that frequently. That looked good.
And then it was the read, too. He knew that Clint wasn't going to get there, and as deep as Melvin Upton was playing, he knew he could make it to third.
Jose Reyes 0 for 3, a couple of strikeouts and a sharp ground ball to short. Off the corner, ball 1. Pat Murphy had high praise for Kevin Quackenbush. He said he was kind of the unsung guy in the victory yesterday for the Padres. The 9th inning come from behind victory because he pitched 2 scoreless innings. He ended up getting the victory. Going to drop a base hit, make it 5-0 as Chris Russell jogs home. And for Reyes, his 4th RBI in a Rockies uniform.
Neither balls hit hard in the last 2 guys between Charlie and Jose. Fights off the fastball on the Subaru Supermo, keeps the hands inside out swing. With the infield in, all you need to do. Now grab some water, Chris. Sit down, towel off, catch your breath, and go out there and get ready to finish this ball game off.
Cargo a home run in the 4th inning to center field, 1 for 3 outside, ball 1. Here's another look at his 27th of the year.
Cargo with the classic backdrop finish. The home run hitters, they know when they've got it.
This ball on the ground to second. There's 1, and on the first double play, moving to third is Blackman, 2 outs. Who wants tacos? Fans follow @RootSports_RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies taco special when the Rockies score 7 or more runs. Nolan today 0 for 3. He was the one who reached on that routine pop-up to first baseman Derek Norris, and Norris just dropped it. And after that, Paulson lined a double off the left field wall. They intentionally walked LeMahieu and McHenry, hit a double to deep right center to score all 3 base runners. The Padres went from very much in the ball game to pretty much out of the ball game.
For Derek Norris, this was just classic drop. There's nothing else involved. No sun, no wind.
And you look at Nolan. I mean, Nolan's just kind of cruising up the line. He's disappointed. It's going to be the end of the inning. That misses. And Eric Young frantically was waving to him because he had kind of passed. You can see in the picture he had passed Norris. He may have been unaware that he dropped it until Eli said, "Get on the bag."
Get on the bag.
Three and one. Big swing, 3-2.
Chris has had a chance for about 4 or 5 minutes now with this inning, the way it's going, to sit down, which is helpful for him.
Fought off. Blackman at third, 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. 3-2 on Nolan. Swung on and missed. Quackenbush strikes him out. We'll go to the 9th inning. Chris Russin looking for 3 more outs. 5-0 Colorado.
We tried.
You gave it the old Mickey Mouse try.
I thought that was wonderful. Hopefully you'll do another rendition during the Toyota postgame show. I think the crowd would like to see that. Chris Russin in the 9th inning. The same guy that started. Gotta like that. Matt Kemp, Justin Upton, Jed Jerko in the 9th inning. Kemp, a base hit in the 6th inning to keep his hitting streak alive. Now a 9-gamer for Kemp. Russin has been quick and efficient. He's thrown only 94 pitches here as he begins the 9th inning. And the first pitch is in there for a strike.
You know, it's nice for him when he looks up at the scoreboard before he trots out to say, "We've got a 5-0 lead."
Takes a little bit of the heat off, doesn't it?
Just a touch.
A lot more margin for error, and that's a strike as well.
Chad Bettis twice this year, back-to-back starts, in fact, went at least 8 innings.
And this is hitting the air to shallow right, coming on Cargo. The wind got a piece of it a little bit. He's got it, 1 out.
first 10,000 fans through the gates next Sunday will receive a Jorge De La Rosa bobblehead. Get your tickets to this game against the Mets today, August 23rd, first 10,000 fans. So Chad Bettis, in back-to-back starts in May, had 8 innings against San Francisco, and then remember that gym in Philadelphia where he went 8 1/3?
Yeah, and again, if you missed it, Chad threw a rehab start last night, 3 1/3 innings. He was limited by pitch count, pitched very, very well in New Britain. Quick strike on Justin Upton, 0 for 2 and a walk. No swing, 1-1. And that's pulled foul. It's time for our CenturyLink link to what's next. Let's check the upcoming schedule. Tomorrow's an off day for the Rockies. Washington will be in the middle of the week for 3, and then the Mets on the weekend, and then the Rockies will head to Atlanta for 3. They'll be off in Pittsburgh on Thursday, 3 against the Pirates before returning home back in the NL West, Diamondbacks and Giants. Swung on and missed. 2 gone in the 9th inning for Chris Russell. That is his 3rd strikeout of the ball game.
On the quick pitch for effectiveness, and he did on this to Justin Upton. All up in the zone, tardy swing.
Fouled off by Jerko at the plate. Jed's 0 for 3. 2 ground outs and a line out.
Chris can get this complete game shutout. It'll be the first time since Tyler Matzik last year against these same San Diego Padres.
So last time the Rockies had a complete game of 9 innings as well. It would just be the 3rd shutout for the Rockies as a team this year. They've been shut out 7 times. This is fouled off, and he's 1 strike away.
103 pitches, doesn't even look like he's worked up a sweat.
Inside. Two on Jerko, 2 outs in the 9th inning. The Rockies up 5-0. Give Mike McHenry some credit too. He's caught a terrific ball game, called a very good ball game, as he typically does.
Very few shakeoffs.
The 1-2. 2-2. Russin at 105 pitches. Couple of shakes, and now for the first time today they'll meet at the mound.
You want to make sure you get it right.
Yeah, think back to the bases loaded situation, the balk that wasn't a balk, and throughout that, Steve Foster, who, by the way, happy birthday, Steve Foster, the Rockies pitching coach, turned 49 today. He had so much confidence in how Chris had been throwing. He didn't feel it necessary to come out. And Russin, true to form, handled the situation. Here's the birthday boy. Here's the 2-2. Swung out and missed. Held by McHenry. Ball game over. Complete game shutout for Chris Russin. Congratulations. His first career complete game. What a gem.